Welcome to our March 23rd, 2021 Code Enforcement Board hearing. Inspectors at this time, can you please stand and raise your right hand? Do you swear and affirm to tell the truth at today's proceedings? Thank you. You may be seated. Okay, our first case is going to be on page 1. Wait a minute. No, he's not. I don't see him present. Is Bobby? I thought I saw Bobby. No.
He was here.
Oh, okay. Okay, we're gonna not do that one. Okay. Our first case is on page 1. Inspector Alexander Arbores, property address 605 Southeast 9th Avenue. Case number BE 201-00-009. This is a new business case. Notice posted at the property and at City Hall on 3/10/21.
Go ahead, Alexander. Barely.
Mark, wait one moment. I want the.
Good morning.
Okay, that'd be fine.
Good morning, Mr. Alcott and Mr. Kareem. Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear and affirm to tell the truth at today's proceedings?
I do.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Alexander.
Good morning, board. Alexander Alvarez, building inspector for the city, presenting case number BE 2010-0009. Property address 605 Southeast. I visited this property on October 5th, 2020 to investigate a work without permit complaint. The complainant from adjacent property allowed me access to the backyard, and I observed that there was a pool and a pool deck at this property. Permit record shows a residential pool spa fountain permit number PM-09072200, issue August 6, 2009. Final inspection September 28, 2010. This permit was for a pool remodel to add a raised wall water feature. I performed online research comparing BCPA aerial photos and found that the pool deck and the water feature were later modified, including extending the pool deck into adjacent property at 825 Southeast 6th Court, which was also owned by the same owner at the time. The property was cited for work without permit for the Building Code 2017, Section 105.1, and an inspection report was mailed to the property owner with 30 days to get into compliance. On January 29, 2021, I visited the adjacent property, and met with adjacent property owners to investigate another complaint, and found that the outdoor swimming pool does not have the required pool barrier as per FPC 2020 Section 454.2.17.1. Property was cited for violation of 9-1D. Any violation of the Florida Building Code shall be a violation of this section and punishable as provided for this section. The case was open October 5th, 2020. Inspection report mailed to the property owner October 6, 2020 and February 3rd, 2021. Final notice mailed on November 16, 2020. Notice of hearing was posted at the property March 10, 2021. Records show no permit application as of March 22nd, 2021. We're asking that the board find that the violations exist and to grant the property owner 63 days to come into compliance or a fine of $50 per day thereafter. The neighbor from adjacent property would like to speak in regards to this case. However, at this time, I will first let the respondent speak.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. May I proceed?
Go ahead, Matthew.
All right, thank you. So, magistrate and the board, the board. The home of my clients and their neighbor, Mr. Alcott, it was all one big property that was all fenced in. It was then parceled out into two homes, a larger home and a smaller home. The larger property was sold to my client and the smaller property to Mr. Alcott. Within about a week of Mr. Alcott moving in, my clients first approached him about building a fence on the property line for purposes of separating their property and for pool safety. While they were discussing the location of the fence, a property dispute began. They have a competing survey and we have a survey that shows something else. After months of back and forth between my clients and Mr. Alcott, nothing was moving forward. My client retained my firm and we reached out to Mr. Alcott, and at that time he refused to negotiate, attempt to settle, or give any information relating to the property dispute, including any attorneys he's consulted or even his title insurance carrier, so we could settle this amicably. So, however, during this time, Mr. Alcott continued a pattern of retribution, including calling code enforcement, which is why we're here today, setting up a golf net on my client's property and hitting golf balls directly in the net, directly towards my client's large window, and starting to landscape the property here. The two issues that are here in front of us today is the lack of a pool barrier and what I believe, which was not specific in the notice, was a pavers, I believe, that were added at some point before my clients owned the property. Those pavers are less than 110 square feet, which I have evidenced in an email from the city of Fort Lauderdale, from the tax rolls. Additionally, the property dispute hasn't stopped any attempt for my clients to build a barrier at the property line, which they've wanted to do for months and months. My client is not opposed to putting up a temporary barrier only for purposes of the pool and not a borderline. With respect to the pool deck modification, I am requesting a few more specifics as to exactly what the charge entails. Is it the pavers? As the inspector did show, we do have that same permit that shows the fountain and that area of the property. And essentially, my clients would like to proceed with their lives unmolested from Mr. Alcott's constant complaints to the city about the property. Thank you.
Okay, well, what about the pool deck modification? What is that?
The permit that was issued and is finally inspected, it was for a water feature that was added to the pool.
Okay.
And there's a attached to the case is the aerial photograph of how it looked
Right.
after those inspections and how it was modified. It was modified in several ways. It appears that it looks like there was a fire pit added later, and somehow the water feature seems to no longer be there, and the pool deck was extended. That's for the first violation of section 105.1.
So you're saying that the pool deck was extended, there was a fire pit that was added, and what was removed again?
The water feature.
The
The
water
water
feature.
feature was modified. I'm looking at the plans and it's showing a raised wall. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore. I never went into the actual property. The observation was from the adjacent property. So as to the specifics, that's why we're requesting for the owner to get a permit showing these modifications. Clearly, there has been modifications done based on the aerial photographs and the photographs that were taken from the adjacent property from the complainant.
Do you have a before and after picture?
There is a before and after
Show
pictures.
me the before and the
attached.
after. Which one is which?
So to the next. That's
Okay,
one more. Right there, that's the after inspection, that's what was approved.
okay.
Photograph, you see the green area, and then if you look at the second photographs, it shows the how the deck was extended. Now, if you compare the plans with the fire pit, the lower wall was either raised,
Go
or the higher
back.
work was reduced.
Go back, please. Go back.
No, I have a question. Just the before shot.
Keep going. I want to see the before and after. Before and after aerial.
After.
Stop.
No, that's after.
Okay, stop there. That's after. Now go
After,
to
now
go to
go
the
to-
next one. The next one's before, right?
No, that's it.
Okay.
Oh, big difference.
So when was this picture taken? Can you tell?
Yes, between 2010 and 2011, that was the before. That's the Broward County Property Appraiser's Office aerial satellite photograph
This is a picture of them after they did their work,
after they did the work. Yes,
permitted work.
the permitted work. So it shows
Go ahead.
a picture during the construction, shows right after the construction. That matches what's on the plans, on the approved plans for the permit.
Okay, go to
And-
the one before.
That's during the construction.
The construction. Go to the one that shows the pit, the fire pit. Right there.
And that's
Stop, go back. So. Right there, okay. So the pit there you can see is added. What else is added?
sorry.
I can see the pit. What else is added? The pavers around the pit, is that right?
Yes, the pool deck was extended,
Okay.
and then the tile was placed over the pool deck.
Okay. All right. So that's that, and where's the barrier supposed to be?
The pool barrier,
Yeah. the pool barrier.
there's no fence, nothing separating the adjacent property from this property.
Okay.
It's wide open. They have several options, and I'd be willing to provided the owner with some options as to how to comply with the pool barrier violation
Okay.
that would comply with the Florida Building Code.
Okay.
I have two questions, Mark.
Go ahead.
Is the additional decking less than 200 square feet?
I did not measure it.
Yeah, I don't believe they need a permit for under 200 square feet. And is it possible that that water feature is really there and this fire pit container is sitting on top of it?
The water,
In other words, that's a temporary thing that can be lifted off. Is that actually the water feature underneath?
I cannot say that.
Go to the picture that has the one right after the permitted work.
Water feature.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me-
Keep going, please.
Good morning, Inspector Mario Carrasquel, Building Inspector for the city. That section of the 200 square feet only applies for public works and for utilities being done within the right of way. So that's not applied for
Again, go
the.
again.
For the
It's only a
property.
front yard situation?
No, that's applied only for the work being performed on the right of way for public work. Does not apply for the property.
That's not what I was
It's on
told
the-
by the chief.
Yeah, it's a Florida Building Code 15.2, letter B.
I don't believe that's true. So I asked him about-
Can you tell where the water feature is on this picture or the one before this?
When I visited the adjacent property, I did not see any water on that feature. It only appeared to be a fire pit. It did not appear to be a water feature.
Okay.
In addition to that, the two walls, the two reinforced concrete walls, meaning one in the front and one in the back of the water feature, it was approved to have different elevations. They now both appear to be at the same elevation, which indicates that the structure was modified. Either the short wall was raised or the taller wall was reduced in height.
All right, does the respondent wish to address any of the additional testimony of the city?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for with respect to the feature, it is a water feature still. It's on a timer. Additionally, I do believe the board member that mentioned the 200 square foot, I believe that was the old rule in the early 2000s. I believe now it's 100 and anything less than 120 square feet can be unpermitted. I have my associate digging through and looking for that code number right now, but that's always been my rule of thumb with matters like this. In my evidence, I did include an email from Mr. Fritz, who works for the city of Fort Lauderdale, who has measured the half moon for tax purposes, because my clients have been taxed for the entire half moon, which is all included in my evidence. And the half moon area that's been added is only 110 square feet. And regardless of everything I just presented, this is all stemming from a property dispute that we've been trying to resolve.
Let me
And
ask you this, counsel. I think you admit that there is no barrier there. Is that right?
you are 100% correct on that. I am saying that my clients have attempted to put in a barrier and have been stopped by Mr. Alcott, the adjacent neighbor, and they are willing to put in a temporary barrier.
Have they been stopped by putting up a barrier on their side of the property? I don't understand that.
So at this point, there are features that would not allow them. They'd have to dig up the pavers at great cost to them.
Okay.
I'm sorry. And, as a stopgap for safety, they're absolutely willing to put in a temporary barrier.
Okay, let's hear from the neighbor.
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me, board?
Yes.
Yes, good morning. Richard Alcott, 825 Southeast 6th Court. My backyard goes up to the backyard of our neighbors. The properties were always owned by the same family. They were never owned by the same person. And they've always purposely been kept as a deed and title separately. The owner of 605, when he redid the pool area, he was also building the house that I live in at 825. So it was a project across the property line. That all was done per permits, and you show it on your photograph and on the survey that all that work was done and completed and was fine prior to 2010. After the fact, about 12 months later, they came in and
Who is they?
the owner's contractor
Okay.
did a very nice job installing additional pool tile area and altering the water feature that is there. It still exists. The fire pit is a street gas fire pit that has some pipe coming to it from someplace that we're unaware of any permit for. And it's only about 2 feet from the property line, so I would have thought it probably would not have been permitted. But this alteration was extending the permitted tile that was originally on the land much closer to the property line, an additional 2 feet of width for a distance of 70 some odd feet. And then it crossed the property line. And on my McLaughlin survey that I did last week, it shows 111 square feet of encroachment tile patio work from 605 onto my land at 825. So the encroachment is there, the additional tile work is there, and the tile work extends considerably more on their property than was ever permitted in the beginning. The fire pit is still on the water feature. The height of that concrete wall, I'm not aware of what it was supposed to be, but it's about 1.5 feet or 2 feet. And that's about 1 foot from my property line.
How do you respond to the allegation that you've prevented them from putting up a barrier?
I would say Matthew's facts are incorrect.
Okay. All right. Matthew, I've got a question. You said that it would cost your client great expense to go over the tile or tear up the tile that it laid down improperly. Is that right?
So what I mentioned before is we have a survey with our property line, which includes the half moon.
Okay.
They wanted to put a fence right at that border. They approached Mr. Alcott about this, and like I said, a property dispute is ongoing currently. At that time, they were going to, I believe, split the cost of the fence. The whole purpose of the fence was for the pool and to separate the properties.
Right.
So if they were to put the fence back, sorry if I'm a little long-winded, to put the fence back, it would go over their half moon and they couldn't enjoy their property until the property dispute is wrapped up.
Well, it would appear to me that that is a safety hazard for children not having a barrier.
Totally.
So you got to address that, I would think. Do you want to say anything else? Any from the neighbor or from council?
Yes, Richard Alcott here. We've never prevented, actually, we've encouraged our neighbors to put up a pool safety device around their pool. They've declined to do that. They've been in the home more than a year, and they've had ample time and ample warning and ample education to do this. Their own insurance company requires it of them, as does the state of Florida. And they've just refused, and it's not been enforced by the city. And it's hazardous to the neighborhood and to anybody enjoying my property. But that's the second point that we're here today. The first point is that they did work without a permit. And the work without a permit is their responsibility to correct. The work without a permit doesn't allow someone to come across a property line and do work on it. And that's with a permit or without a permit. And it needs to be addressed by the board. It needs to be removed. And they need to retract the tile work that's on their property back to what was permitted. And it's very clear in the photograph and the survey of what was permitted and done prior to or during 2010 That's what the property should be restored back to.
Thank you.
Yet one final thing. There's 4 surveys on this property. 605, what the survey that Matthew's proposing to you, all the surveys say the same thing. The property line is a straight line that goes across the property lines. It's been that way for 70 some odd years since Rio Vista was developed. There's no question where the property line, there is a question of where perhaps an easement is. We don't believe there is an easement. They've come up with other suggestions. However, all the surveys are the same. It's a straight line from one property corner to the other property corner. And I think the board will recognize that the half round of a circle that's not in a deed or not mentioned in property title is a dispute between neighbors and is not something that's factual.
Okay.
Good morning, board. May I address the board for a minute, Michael?
Yes.
This is Chief George Oliva.
Yes, Chief, go ahead.
Going back to the city point of view here, beside the civil matter that is in between the two neighbors, we have a big violation here, which is the Child Protection Act of the state of Florida with the missing barrier or the protection for the pool. At this moment, I think this is what the case should be focused is on the missing barrier on the pool. And we should allow them a short amount of time to comply with the state law and provide a barrier around the pool.
Yeah,
Have
not-
a temporary, yes, sir?
I have not lost sight of that. Go ahead.
No, what I'm saying, Michael, they should provide at least a temporary barrier until they come out with a civil matter, some type of agreement. But that pool needs to be protected and needs to be protected fast.
Yes, I agree.
How do we
Council.
add one without adding only a portion of that? Sir,
Say again.
how do we agree that there's a violation to only a portion of what was presented? That's my opinion.
Can make a motion to that effect.
That could be included in the motion.
Yeah, you can make a motion that the violation is as to the barrier.
Okay.
If you want.
Okay.
I mean, others may differ, but I'll give council the last word before we decide to.
I would just like to reiterate the gas pipe and the gas fireplace is only a few 24 inches from my property line.
Okay, I've heard that. Go ahead, council. Last word.
Very much appreciated, board, and I'll try to be brief. To address the elephant in the room with what Chief Olivia has said, my clients are willing and able to provide a temporary barrier until the civil matter is resolved. I believe somewhere within 30 days, something like that, they could have it done, and the inspector can come and make sure that was done. I do just want to briefly on the other matter. The city of Fort Lauderdale has been taxing that 110 square foot improvement of tile for the last 10 years, and they've been paying the improved price, which is evidenced by Mr. Fritz's email and by Mr. Alcott's own admission. Jim Lavalle did a nice, quote, nice job installing that fire pit and water feature. So at this point, we are willing to put in the temporary barrier. And at this point, we asked for no violation regarding the improvement in tile. Thank you so much for your time, everyone.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I have a motion.
Go ahead.
I move that we find for the city that a violation exists as alleged, and that we order the property owner to come into compliance by 3/23 with regard to the pool safety barrier only. And a fine of $50 per day per violation be imposed and be recorded.
Okay, do I have a second?
Wait, the date on that was 3/23 or 4/23?
I'm sorry, 5/23.
5/23. All right, I'll second that.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Please take care of the barrier, sir.
Absolutely. And with the new Zoom, how do I go ahead and request a copy of this? I haven't
One
been.
mailed to you.
I'm sorry.
One would be mailed to you.
Oh, very good. Much appreciated, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Next.
Our next case is at the top of page 1, Inspector Bobby Mazzulla, property address 367 West Dayton Circle, case number BE 200-50004. Owner, Mibberline Pierre. Notice posted at the property on 3/15/21, posted at City Hall 3/10/21. Bobby, I need to swear you in, please.
Okay,
Do you swear and affirm to tell the truth at today's proceedings?
yes.
Thank you. Ms. Pierre, go ahead and start your video.
You want to swear her in now too?
Yeah. Ms. Pierre, can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear and affirm to tell the truth at today's proceedings?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Bob.
Okay, Robert Masula, Fort Lauderdale Building Inspector, presenting case BE 2005-0004, property 367 West Dayton Circle. I would like to enter a copy of the notice of violation into the record, which details the violation as listed on the agenda, as well as the corrective action for each violation. This code case was opened in May 2020, and the case was referred to us from Broward County Property Appraiser's Office. Site visit to the property on April 30th, 2020, and I did the research and provided the pictures that are before you today. At this time, permit application BLD CU 20120001 has failed plan review and has been pending needed corrections since December 17th, 2020. This application only addresses the carport enclosure. It does not address the rear addition, and I do not think it includes the other alterations like the front right corner of the house where the exterior wall was altered. In the last week, I have been in contact with the property owner and Mr. Nat Fuller, who my understanding is a draftsperson. I would like to include a display of the dated photos taken of the property. Take a very close look at the aerial pictures from 2019 versus 2020. Take a close look at the rear addition where the roof line is increased in size. And I'd like to enter this in evidence. I ask that the board find for the city that the property owner is in violation. Ask the board to order the property owner to come in compliance within 35 days or a fine of $50 per day. Thank you.
Hey, Bob, real quick, what you're saying is she's being violated for the carport and the rear addition, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, ma'am.
One goes down here. It's okay. Let's sit over here.
Go ahead. Ms. Pierre, did you want to testify?
Hello.
Yes, did you want to testify?
First of all, good morning.
Morning.
And when we buy the house, and yes, I'm the one closed the front. I'm the one put the garage door. Yes, I did.
All right.
And for the rest of the week, we buy the house like that.
So the rear addition was already there when you bought the house. Is that your testimony?
Yes.
Are you aware that that was done without a permit though? Have you learned that? Ma'am?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a property owner, you are responsible for any violations that exist on the property. Whether
Okay, when we bought the house, yes, I did because I don't know if I'm supposed to have the permit to do it, when the first house. And basically, I don't know if you need to buy the permit to do the work.
How long-
That's why when Mr. Bobby, when I received the letter, I'm a coronavirus and I don't have no money to do anything because I have 4 kids. My husband get deported. And I talked to him and he said, okay, no problem. I give you some time. And basically I'm looking for the architect with contractor to help me to, I'm looking for the architect and the engineer to help me put the permit to see how I can work in that. And I never heard, when I talked to Mr. Nat, And I always call him to say, how's everything going? So he said, everything is fine, everything is fine. And basically he don't do nothing until I receive the
Property, ma'am. How long have you owned this property?
2018.
2018. Go ahead, Bob.
Board, I want to point out, I feel there's a little misunderstanding here. I've been in contact with the property owner for 11 months now. And one, in the course of my site visits, I'm led to believe that this carport enclosure is actually a studio apartment, and there's a tenant in the front unit. I'm also led to believe that the back unit is a studio unit. Talking to the homeowner for the last 11 months, she basically admitted to me that yes, she did have the work performed for the carport enclosure. And yes, she did have the addition built in the rear of the property, as well as other alterations around the property. When I spoke to her 11 months ago, she expressed her hardships to me. I agreed to make an agreement with her that she make progress towards compliance. The agreement was she was going to try to properly permit the carport and then work on the addition in the rear. Yes, they have applied for the permit for the carport only. And a lot of time has gone by, and since December, they have not come back to the table to address the corrections. Where she's referring to Mr. Fuller, yes, I'll acknowledge he's a drafts person. It was only yesterday that I received an email from the architect that the business relationship is you have the drafts person that I believe is in contract with the property owner, and that drafts person does his drawings and he turns it over to an architect to be reviewed, signed, and sealed. And Mr. Fuller has shared his hardship with me with whatever problems he's got going on. So, for minimum amount of compliance, we're going to recommend 35 days. If the property owner wants to address more time than that, I'm not going to oppose that. But please understand, board, it's a fairly serious violation, especially if there's people in there. And if we whatever time we give today, future extensions are going to be very limited.
Hey, Bob, this is important to me. The picture that shows no carport, what's the date of that picture?
Let me double check, please.
That one right there. Stop.
What he said, 2019.
What was that picture?
The back, please. It's going to be a front elevation.
Picture there. Do you know when that was taken, Bob?
Okay, that's an aerial shot from BCPA. And I thought you were referring to the shot that I took of the carport.
This picture right here that shows no, I don't think the back addition is there right now, right?
Correct. That if you look at the bottom left corner, that's a snippet from BCPA dated 2019.
Okay.
And you can see what's the back of addition. And the next aerial from BCPA, you're going to see a large right there from 2020 shows a larger.
So would it appear that the carport was built enclosed before the addition was added?
I can't give a straight answer, but Victoria, can you go to the other pictures, please? I want to make a point. Okay, so this picture here is a snippet from Google. That picture's from 2015. Go to the next one, Victoria. This is the after of where the windows were removed on the corner of the house. Victoria, which I took this picture April 30th, 2020.
Right.
Next one, please. Again, the picture that I took, you can see the garage door there. So the carport's been enclosed. You see the AC unit. When I posted the property the other day, there's a breezeway between the carport and the house. It's a studio. There should be one more picture, please. Okay.
Okay. Ms. Pierre, it would appear that the addition in the back was in fact placed there when you owned the property, not before you owned it. Is that correct?
The back was like that. The front, it was open. The front was open. I'm the one put the garage door, but the back was like that.
Okay. All right. Do you have anything else you want to say, ma'am?
What I'm gonna say, please, I want you to guys understand, like when you're a woman, people take advantage. And Mr. Filler have $1,500 and they have my money to do the job. They always play game with me. So what I'm gonna tell you guys, please help me out. Give me some time so I can find another architect.
How much time, ma'am? How much time are you looking for?
Physically, I don't know. Because I need to look for another architect to help me.
I just need a time period. How much time?
Can you give me like 4 to 5 months? I don't know. So I really look for another architect. Maybe I can work more faster for me.
The problem I have with giving you that much time is that that's going to be in the middle of hurricane season. And that's the problem, is that this was done without permits. So we don't know if it's safe for your tenants.
Okay, if you don't mind, just give me like 3 or 5 months to see.
I have a
Not
motion.
to see, I'm gonna work in that, please.
Thank you. Thank you. We're done. Go ahead.
I
Thank
move
you
that we
so
find
much.
the city that the violation exists as alleged, that we owe to the property owners permit compliance by 5/25/63 days, or a fine of $50 per day per violation. Closed and be recorded.
I have a
I'll
motion.
second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion carries. You have till May 5th, ma'am. Please address it by May 20th.
Something going.
Go ahead. Next case.
Thank you, board.
Mr. Chairman, also, the first case that we heard, 605 Southeast 9th Avenue,
Yes,
we know that the board gave 63 days, but we
yes.
just want to be clear about the dates. It should be May 25th and not May 23rd. So can you just say that for
I
the
thought
record?
he did correct that, ma'am. He did. He said May 20th. He said May 23rd, and then he corrected it to May 25th.
Okay, we didn't hear 25th. Thank you.
Go
Our
ahead.
next case is at the bottom of page 1, Inspector Alejandro Del Rio, property address 1727 Poinsettia Drive, case number CE 200119292, owner Sean and Rachel Lamb. Notice posted at the property on 3/9/21, posted at City Hall 3/10/21. Mr. Lamb, can you please press star 67 to unmute yourself?
All right, can you hear me?
Yes. Are you able to start the video on your phone?
I was having issues with that actually. This morning we were trying to do that multiple times, so no.
It's okay. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear and affirm to tell the truth at today's proceedings?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Go ahead, Inspector.
Building Inspector Alejandro Del Rio for the city, presenting case CE 200111292. Property address as read. This case was open on January 27, 2020. I visited the property on February 17, 2020, and observed that a pergola was built in the front of the property. The permit history for this property doesn't show any permit for that pergola. An inspection report was sent to the property owner on February 17, 2020. A final notice was sent on June 25, 2020. And notice of violation was posted at the property on March 9, 2021, and mailed to the property owner on March 10, 2021. We are asking the board to find that the violation exists and to grant the property owner 63 days to come into compliance, or a fine of $50 per day thereafter.
Hello, Mr. Lamb.
Hello.
What
Yeah.
do you say to the allegations?
Yeah, I mean that's fine. And just to give you some background on the situation, we just wanted to get some shade in the front of our house, and we hired a handyman who told us that we didn't need a permit. So we were kind of caught off guard once that happened. But we've gone to the engineer. We've got the drawings and we got the surveys. We actually dropped them off downtown on Friday. We were told that two of the papers, I guess the surveys weren't attached properly, so it's in the rejection box. I got to go down there today and go pick it up. Also, just during the pandemic, me and my wife were working from home. We have two little ones. We have a 19-month and a 4.5-year-old. So it's been a little hectic, to say the least. And we are working to kind of get this resolved. And yeah, if we got to do it within 3 days, I think Alejandro said, that's more than fine. I'm hoping that it's resolved in the next week or so, in all honesty, and that this is over with.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Lamb. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we find for the city the violation exists and allege that we order the property owner to compliance by May 25, 2021, 63 days, or a fine of $25 per day per violation be imposed and be recorded.
I'll second that.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No one's opposed, so we have, you got 63 days, sir. Please get it done.
Okay, thanks. All right, thanks, guys. We will. Thank you.
Next case.
One moment. Yeah. Our next case is on page 4. Property address 1243 Northeast 11th Avenue. Inspector Jorge Martinez. Owner Mark Steinberger. Case number CE 171-00827. This case was first heard 7/23/19 to comply by 10/22/19. One section at $50 per day per violation. Order recorded, not complied. There are 2 extensions noted. Mr. Steinberger, and is there a Christopher there?
Mr. Steinberger, can you hear us? You may have dropped off. Go ahead, City.
Okay, Rob
there.
Masula.
Fabiana Spore, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, can you please go in the video so we can swear you in, so we can proceed?
I think my camera was broken. I will turn it on so you can see me.
We just don't see you. We see something. You could just step in front
Can
of
you see me?
There you
Yes.
are. Now we see you. Hi.
Okay.
Do you swear and affirm to tell the truth at today's proceedings?
Sorry, could I hear you?
Do you swear and affirm to tell the truth at today's proceedings?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Steinberg is no longer on there, okay?
Okay. I will turn it on because my camera is broken, so you cannot see me.
Okay, go ahead.
Rob Masula, Fort Lauderdale Building Inspector, updating you on case CE 171-00827, property 1243 Northeast 11th Avenue. I am updating the board on behalf of Building Inspector George Martinez, who is out today. Master Permit Application BLD CALT 21030011, along with the required MEP subpermits, were applied for on March 10th, 2021. They are in
Yes.
plan review at this time. Based on the new permit activity and the Inspector of Records notes, we would support a 63-day extension at this time. Thank you.
Okay, Fabiana,
Yes.
do you have any objection to a 63-day extension?
We're gonna work on, if you need more time, can you let you know?
You say you want more time than 63 days, is that correct?
Yes.
How much more time?
Can I have 3 months, 90 days?
91 days?
Yes.
Hang on, Bob, did you want to respond to that?
Respectively, board, this is a code case that's been going on for 3 years plus. It's very much of a concern because it's an active nightclub. My opinion, the 63 days is going to allow it to go to plan review. If there are need corrections, they need to be on top of this, need to follow the plan review. If there's corrections, get on it immediately, and no, 63 days. Thank you.
I tend to agree with that. I'll entertain a motion.
Okay.
I move for a 63-day extension.
I'll
I got a
second that.
motion for a 63-day extension in a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Fabiana, get it done in 63 days, please. I don't.
Thank you, board.
Okay. All right.
Next case.
Okay, one moment, please. Mr. Michael Silva, if you are here for 1741 Northeast 17th Way, that case is closed. So you can get off the presentation. That case is closed. Our next case is on page 6. Property address 901 North Birch Road, number 4A. Inspector Leonardo Martinez, owner Walter Klein. Case number CE 19020576. This case was first heard on 2/25/20 to comply by 4/28/20. One section at $25 per day, order recorded, not complied. Notice posted at the property on 3/9/21, posted at City Hall 3/10/21. 2 extensions noted, and this is a Massey hearing.
Good morning, my name is Inspector Mario Carrasquel for the city. Presenting on behalf of Inspector Leonardo Martinez, an updating case and address as read. The owner unfortunately passed away because of the COVID-19. His daughter is taking over to address the violations. And at this time, the city will request an additional 91 days.
Is the daughter present?
Christine. Hi, Chris. Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear and affirm to tell the truth at today's proceedings?
I absolutely do.
Thank you.
Chris, is Walter your father?
Yes, sir.
I apologize for my condolences.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
The 91-day extension?
I would really appreciate that. I have an electrician. He's on board. He's just waiting for Leonardo to get back to him to tell him what to do. And he said he'll take care of it as soon as possible.
Okay,
Have a
thanks,
motion.
Chris. I'll entertain a motion.
I move for a 91-day extension.
I'll second it.
Motion in a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. 91 days. Good luck, Chris.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You all have a great day.
You too.
You
Next
too.
case.
Thank you. Our next
See what-
case is on page 5. Inspector Jorge Martinez, property address 909 Northwest 16th Terrace. Owner PBN Investments LLC. Case number CE 19050138.
What page are we on?
5. This case was first heard on 11/26/19 to comply by 2/25/20. One section at $50 per day, order recorded, not complied. There are 2 extensions noted.
Rob Masola for Lauderdale Building Inspector, updating you on case CE 19050138, property 909 Northwest 16th Terrace. I'm updating the board on behalf of Building Inspector George Martinez, who is out today. Permit BLD WIN 21030157 appears to have passed plan review. It appears ready to be issued. We would support a 35-day extension for this permit to be issued. Thank you.
Mr. Shlomo, can you please raise your right hand?
I'm an attorney, so
Okay, do you swear in front to tell the truth at today's proceedings?
yes, of course.
Do you have any problem with the 35-day extension, sir?
No, Your Honor, no, Your Honor, we're good with that. It should be, we're just waiting on the inspection. It should be resolved within the 35 days.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to extend 35 days.
Okay, Michael's made a motion and it's been seconded by William. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Our next case is on page 6. Inspector Jorge Martinez, property address 1109 Northeast 16 Terrace. Owner John J. Cricket, case number CE 19041534. This case was first heard on 9/24/19 to comply by 10/4/19. One section at $200 per day, order recorded, not complied. Notice posted at the property on 3/9/21, posted at City Hall 3/10/21. There are 3 extensions noted. This is a hearing to impose fines. Mr. Cricket, can you please unmute yourself and start your video?
Mr. Cricket, can you hear us?
Yeah. Hi, Mr. Cricket, can you start your video on your phone, please?
I will try. Okay. Let's see. Allow. Okay. All right. How's that?
That's good.
Great. Thank you very much.
Please raise your
Yeah.
right hand. Okay, do you swear and affirm to tell the truth at today's proceedings?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Mario.
Thank you.
Mario Carrasquel, building inspector for the city. On behalf of Inspector Jorge Martinez, updating case and address as read. As per Inspector Martinez notes, the permits is still in process, and at this time, the city will request an extension of 35 days.
Mr. Cricket, do you have any objection to a 35-day extension?
My only concern is I did submit a request to the city based on the old permits that were there. And I gave them a code section that said I could utilize that. And they rejected the basis I had to get a new architect and a new engineer for weight and considerations. I might add there's a conflict, so I was appealing it to the building department downtown or wherever they are. And I gave them a copy of the old plans and the code section. I don't know how long it takes for them to review it. Then I have to go out, if they reject that, then I have to go out and hire an engineer. This is a pre-existing, you have it, it's a pre-existing post. Everything on the property.
How much time are you requesting, Mr. Cricket?
If I could get, I requested 60 days in my letter to you. I think I can deal with that. And I think I could go out and take care of that.
So you prefer a 63-day extension as opposed to a 35-day extension. How's the city feel about a 63-day extension?
I have no objection.
No objection. Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I have a motion, 63-day extension.
Second. Check.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? No. So if the ayes have it, you have a 63 days, sir. Get it done, okay?
I will. I appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, board.
Please.
I'll cut this off.
At this time, this concludes all of our respondents.
We do have Mark Steinberg back here. Mark, are you there?
This case was closed.
Mark, are you there?
Oh, we've already heard his case.
He's gone. Okay, yeah. Well, he left. He left again. Okay, Bruce, I guess we're done with you.
Thank you. I was going to ask if I could be excused. Everybody have a good month. I'll see you next month.
Okay, Bruce,
you
take
too,
care.
Bruce.
Thank you. Thanks, folks.
Thank you. Okay.
Our next case, page 2, Inspector Leonardo Martinez, property address 6760 Northwest 22nd Terrace. Owner Anthony J. Laurie Jr., case number BE 200-20002. This case was first heard on 1/26/21 to comply by 3/23/21. One section at $50 per day, order recorded, not complied.
Rob Masula, Fort Lauderdale Building Inspector, updating you on case case BE 2002-0002, property 6760 Northwest 22nd Terrace. I'm updating the board on behalf of Building Inspector Leo Martinez, who's out today. Fence permit BLD FEN 21010060 appears to have passed plan review and appears ready to be issued. We would support a 35-day extension for this permit to be issued. Thank you.
Entertain a motion.
I move for 35-day extension.
I'll second.
Second for 35 days. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next case.
Property address 1108 Arizona Avenue. Owner Kenson Juing Lewis, Altony Joseph, case number BE-19120043. This case was first heard on 1/26/21 to comply by 3/23/21. One section at $50 per day, order recorded, not complied.
Rob Masula, Fort Lauderdale Building Inspector, updating on case BE 19120043, property 1108 Arizona Avenue. I'm updating the board on behalf of Building Inspector Leo Martinez, who is out today. There's no permit activity to address the violations documented in this code case. We would leave the decision for an extension to the board. Thank you.
Does anyone have a motion?
I have a motion for 35-day extension.
35 days. Do I have a second?
I'll
on that?
second.
I've got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 35 days in this next case.
Our next case is property address, Inspector Lauderdale, property address 5975 North Federal Highway, owner CJB Real Estate Management LP, case number BE 200100018. This case was first heard on 12621 to comply by 32321. One section at $50 per day, order recorded, not complied.
Building Inspector Alejandro Del Rio, presenting case as read, updating case as read. Property owner apply for a permit to comply with the violation. They just applied recently, so I'm requesting a 63-day extension.
I entertain a motion.
I move for 63-day extension.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. 63 days. Next case.
Thank you.
Our next case on page 2, Inspector Bobby Mazula, property address 512 Northwest 15 Terrace, owner Sabra 52 LLC, case number CE 16071180. This case was first heard on 10/25/16 to comply by 1/24/17. One section at $25 per day, order recorded, not complied. There are several extensions noted.
Rob Masola, Fort Lauderdale Building Inspector, updating you on case CE 16071180, property address 512 Northwest 15th Terrace. Master permit PM 19012558 is active and pending revisions, with pending revisions. It appears they are in the process of getting their final inspections. Because this case is cited with the Florida Building Code 110.6, we will support a 91-day extension at this time. Thank you.
Motion for a 91-day extension.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none. Ayes have it. 91 days. Go ahead.
Thank you, board.
Next.
Our
case.
next case is on page 3, Inspector Mario Carswell, property address 3120 Southwest 17th Street, owner Select Ocean Holding LLC, case number BE 200200064. This case was first heard on 12621 to comply by 32321. One section at $50 per day per violation, order recorded, not complied.
Mario Carrasquel, Building Inspector for the city, updating case and address as read. There are no diligences towards compliance at this time. No permits are applied on the system. At this time, the city does not support any additional extensions.
I'll entertain a motion, or we could set it for Massey. Hearing no motion, we'll set it for Massey. Next case.
Thank you, board.
Or because Inspector Saragusi just left out. And
That's it.
that's it. We gotta wait till he comes back.
Well, we call Patrick and say this is the shortest.
No wonder there's no coffee here.
Yeah, where's the coffee and donuts?
We could move for an extension on this case if you want. Or set it for Massey. Either one.
You done?
Last meeting.
I've got a motion by William, a second by. Anyone
I'll second.
I second.
Okay. A motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
Yvette? Yvette here,
Thank you.
it's right in front of me.
Right.
I gotta note today.
Four, property address 5535 Northwest 35th Ave B. Case number BE 2002065. Owner, BRE Alpha Industrial Property Owner LLC, in care of Gateway. Inspector Jose Saragusti. This case was first heard on 12621 to comply by 32321. One section at $50 per day. Order recorded, not complied.
Hello.
Good morning, Inspector Saragusti on behalf of the city presenting the case as read. The case is not comply. They are working obtaining the permit. City is requesting 32 days to comply.
35 days to
30
comply.
Sorry, 35 days to comply.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion 35-day extension.
I'll second.
I got a motion, a second by all. All in
Thank
favor,
you.
say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Hearing none,
you.
motion carries. 35-day extension. So we're good.
Okay, board, we would like to enter the two cases that's listed on page 6 into the record as closed.
Okay, so noted. Anything else?
Okay,
Yeah.
any business for the
This
city?
one. Pardon me?
Any business for the city?
No, I don't have any business. Anyone? I think we're good. I'll
Okay.
entertain a motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Move we adjourn.
this concludes our March 23rd, 2021 Code Enforcement Board hearing.
Good
Thank
job,
you.
guys.